Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Lawyer for Crazies. I, 27 female, refused to give free legal advice to my friend, 27 female, and her boyfriend, 32 male. Friend's boyfriend went nuts. I just want some perspective on this, throw away for the obvious reasons. A bit of background. Julie is a good friend from school. We used to be close but have drifted apart and don't see each other as much as we used to. John is her boyfriend. We used to be close but he has been cold towards me recently. They have both opened up a business and I am a lawyer at a decent sized firm. A few days ago I get a text from my good friend Julie out of the blue wanting to meet up. I was thrilled because Julie has bailed the last couple of times I have organized things. We meet up, but the whole time Julie keeps fishing for legal advice about her business, which I politely refused. I refused for many reasons. She sought advice in an area of law I have minimal experience in. It goes against the conditions of my practicing license. What she wanted me to do would take up most of my limited free time, and in my jurisdiction there are rules and lots of warnings against giving free legal advice to friends and family. It has the potential to ruin my career, a career which I have just begun. I also don't want to mix my professional and personal life. The area of law I practice in is emotionally draining and intensive. I love it, but for the purposes of self-preservation, I want to spare my time to be work-free. While I am more than happy to lend a sympathetic ear to friends, I find it a bit much to continuously put on the lawyer hat and provide solutions, opinions, and dish out free legal advice to everyone that asks. It's not a nice feeling to know you are being taken advantage of. I politely refused Julie and told her that I really wasn't comfortable giving away free legal advice, but if she wanted recommendations, I would gladly provide her with a list of capable lawyers. She said it was okay and we had a meaningful chat. It was really pleasant to be able to speak to her again. Fast forward to last night. I was at a catch-up dinner with a couple of friends and our significant others. Julie and John happened to be there and were giving me the cold shoulder. I ignored it for most of the night until we took our seats at the table. John started making all these snide remarks about lawyers, the usual stereotype about lawyers. I laughed it off, as did everyone else. However, things took a turn for the worse and his comments got oh so nasty and personal. He said horrible things like I must be sleeping my way to the top, that I must have connections to have gotten my job, that I am unethical or lack moral virtue like all lawyers, that I am greedy, and the icing on the cake, you must be a good lawyer because you were unable to help us with our simple legal problem. I was pretty pissed off because who the F does something like this over dinner? It was horrible, awkward, and just mean. I was mortified and didn't know what to say or do. I felt so small. I ended up excusing myself from the table and go cry. When I come back, it evidently looks like I have been crying, and now John is pissed, saying that I can't take a joke or have any sense of humor. I wake up in the morning being bombarded with text messages from John and Julie about how I am a horrible person and how I made them look bad. What? And how this would all have been avoided if I just helped them in the first place. I responded and said if I ever was going to help them, they'd blown their chances based on how they have acted. John has lost the plot and has been sending me menacing messages and has threatened to ruin me. Reddit, how the hell do I handle this? Well, first of all, OP, you need to talk to Julie and tell her that friends don't put friends in this kind of situation, and if she insists, then you need to end the relationship. If she values your friendship more than the potential legal advice that you could help them out with, then she'll stop. If she doesn't stop, that means that she's actually not your friend, or she is heavily influenced and manipulated by John. Regardless, she should have understood when you said that you can't help her out, and she just should have moved on. And regarding this idiot John and his whole stupid bully behavior, well, you shut him down like a lawyer. You've got text messages with threats. They are harassing you. So I'm pretty sure you can use that to tell them, hey, stop it, sit down, or I am going to take legal action against you two. Which I'm pretty sure will not help the business that they're trying to build up. I'm sorry that this situation may cost you a friendship, but you didn't look for this. Julie was the one that put you in this position. And what do you guys think, or what would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Here Comes Curry says, I would wash my hands of these friends if I were you. You have every right in the world to refuse to have your free time infiltrated by those close to you digging for legal advice. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't most lawyers offer free consultations? Couldn't they have just as easily made a proper appointment with you during your office hours? Hold your ground. If they wanted to shed light on this whole thing to ruin you, they would end up humiliated and you would receive a pat on the back from your employers for 1. Being loyal to their firm, and 2. Being loyal and respectful to yourself. What you do is worth something, and people who come around only when they want something aren't worth gifting it for free. If you are worried, I would bring this situation to a seasoned higher up at the firm. Sorry if I'm a little all over the place, I'm irritated for you and a little under the weather. And OP responds, thanks so much for this, it's made me feel a bit better. What annoyed me the most is how they made me out to be this super selfish, greedy a-hole that doesn't give a second thought about my friends. It is offensive because I am nothing like that and have done so much for them in the past. Hell, the only reason why John is living in my country is because I wrote an amazing stat deck about him and his relationship. What they want me to do is effing time consuming, and as I said, out of my area of expertise. I don't want to finish my exhausting, draining day of solving other people's problems to be bogged down in researching and solving the problems of someone ungrateful. I guess most of all, I am pissed off because I didn't think that this would end a friendship. Normally, the relationship ends after you dish out free legal advice, not before. Putch80 says, I am also a lawyer and have dealt with people I haven't had contact with in years suddenly coming out of the woodwork and seeking free legal advice under the guise of rekindling a friendship. It sucks. It makes you feel used and like you had no worth to give them until you got a JD and took your oath. My honest advice? F them both. Tell them you are interpreting these threats as harassment and blackmail, and any further threats will be met with legal action initiated by you against them. Tell them you do not give out free advice to anyone, let alone former friends. And tell them there are hundreds of other lawyers they can find online who can help them with their simple legal problem. I assume since you are a fairly young lawyer that you have some kind of supervising attorney at your firm overseeing your work. Mention this situation to him or her. State that you don't think it will be an issue, but that you are just trying to be upfront in case it becomes one. I would be shocked if Julie and the boyfriend would file a bar complaint, which would almost certainly be summarily disregarded by your bar association. But your firm should at least be aware of what's going on. I'd be happy to discuss this with you further. For reference, I am located in Oklahoma, so that is where the bulk of my experience dealing with the bar association and crazy clients has come into play. The infallible one says, first, I am sorry that your former friends are acting like a-holes. Just block them from your life. On to the situation that brought this all on. This will come up over and over in your career. It's too late to implement what I'm about to write with respect to this friend, but please keep it in mind. As you advance in your career, you are going to be expected to bring in clients. Your best sources of new work are in your network of friends and family. So here's how, as a new lawyer, to handle a question outside your area of expertise. That is an interesting issue, but it's just not what I do. Can I introduce you to Partner X who handles these types of matters? This doesn't mean they have to come to your office. You all, with Partner X, can go to lunch or get a drink after work. Partner X will 1. See you as a go-getter who can bring in work, and 2. Either quickly answer the question or open a file and bill for the work. And 3. Act as a buffer between your personal and professional worlds. Your friends will see you as someone who tried to help. Source: I used to be you. I am Partner X now. And Dopey responds, excellent advice. I will take it on if I ever move into more corporate legal stuff, but at the moment I am doing easily pro bono family law stuff at a non-profit firm. Additional information from OP's comments. I just want to point out that it is frowned upon by my state's law society to give free legal advice to friends and family. Want to know why? Because if crap hits the fan, people lack the loyalty and will lash out and sue the damn lawyer for their mistakes regardless of familial ties. Legal Ethics 101. I have spent who knows how many hours getting myself to where I am. I am not going to throw it all away to help a friend in an area of love I am not familiar with. And the thing is, when I met up with Julie for coffee, she had a whole heap of documents that she wanted me to look over, sign, give her legal advice, and give her tips in an area of law that I am way over my head in. But let's just say I give her some off-the-cuff, casual legal advice that turns out to be wrong. If she acts on it and something bad happens, I am effed. My professional indemnity insurance won't cover me because I am working outside the scope of my practicing certificate and not doing the work that my firm does. She can sue me for any damages she suffers based on my crappy legal advice. There are no checks and balances in place to see if I'm doing anything right. Basically, casual free legal advice can end up costing me everything I've worked for. As I said, I am more than comfortable recommending them to another firm, but I do not want to be held accountable for this. I explained this to them numerous times. The first thing I said to Julie was what she was asking was beyond my realm of expertise. Well, I was thinking, I don't have time for this crap, but I certainly didn't say that to her. And they know the area of law I specialize in, which is family law, low-income areas, and dealing with a lot of neglected and abused kids. The furthest thing from my mind is coming home and reading up on business and commercial law to help a friend as a favor, especially if they demand it in a really mean, entitled way. I was a bit upset that no one stood up for me, but I think it was because everyone was really shocked. John has always presented himself to be nice and the guy who everyone wants to be with. Julie and John are the golden couple that everyone looks up to. Julie has talked John up to the point where he is untouchable and the standard to judge everyone else's significant other. Anyway, I've got a whole heap of messages from my friends asking me how I am. It was just an awkward and embarrassing situation. No one knew how to handle it, myself included. And I'm not too worried about his texts, it's just the frequency of them. I am more worried about him doing something to ruin my career. I'm not sure exactly what though. Alright, well the community agrees. Ditch the idiot ex-friends and smack him down. Now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. So first things first, thank you so much to everyone that responded. I'm surprised that my post gained the amount of attention that it did. I honestly can't express how thankful I am for all the PMs I got expressing your concern. It's nice to know that there are some really awesome people out there that care enough to listen and help me in my time of need. In the original post, I expressed concern about John sending me really nasty text messages. I know a lot of people were telling me that I should go to the police and make a report. In the end, I decided not to. Long story short, John is not a citizen in my country and is actually going to an interview in the next coming weeks along with Julie to cement his status as a permanent resident. Part of this process is basically having a squeaky clean record and the full and frank disclosure of criminal activity or antisocial behavior. Since I am a character reference that I provided in a non-legal capacity and wrote a really nice letter for John, this was before all the drama, it wouldn't look good for him. I have no interest in ruining both his and Julie's life, no matter how terrible, rude, or mean they are. So I didn't want to make a report. However, I sent one text message to both John and Julie, which basically said that if he did not stop harassing me, then I would have no choice but to go to the police and file a formal report. I have kept copies of these text messages if I need to, and have blocked their numbers and have gone into a social media lockdown. And in case you're wondering, the letter I wrote cannot be rescinded anymore. Unfortunately, the time has passed. I wrote the letter over a year ago when I was not a practicing solicitor and was still a law student. It is not linked to me professionally. It was done, as is stated in the letter, in the context of a friend who has known the couple for an extended period of time. It was essentially a letter that spoke in part about John's character, who at the time I thought was a standout guy, and the legitimacy of John and Julie's relationship, which I still think is legit. No legal jargon. I wouldn't even know how to go about rescinding the letter anyway. In regards to my professional concerns, every Monday I have a standing appointment with my supervising solicitor to debrief about work and any problems that arise from work. As I mentioned in the responses, I practice family law and deal with a lot of at-risk and vulnerable kids, most of whom are victims of abuse, so the appointment goes beyond the realm of legal work. I discussed what happened with John and Julie and asked for her professional opinion. She was actually shocked by the whole situation. I had to show her the texts to prove it actually happened. She basically said that there is no way in the world that John and Julie could get me in trouble because I didn't do anything wrong. She also said that because she knows how hard I work and how many hours I put in that work, coupled with my known distaste of corporate and commercial law, that she has no qualms in backing me up in the unlikely event that Julie and John try to cause me professional dramas. She also advised me to call the Bar Association to preempt any problems, but the Bar Association said that I did the right thing and that unless they have legitimate evidence that proves that I have given them any advice or have done anything wrong, then I am in the clear. So it looks as I thought. I am all good on that front. A very good friend of mine that was at the dinner where John exploded has sort of been talking to Julie and John and letting me know what was going on. My friend Jane told me that John wanted to make a formal complaint or start something. She wasn't too sure of the exact details. But she shot him down and said that is in no way appropriate, acceptable, or ethical, and that she or our circle of friends would not want anything to do with either John or Julie. After this, Jane has told me that she wants nothing to do with either of them anyway, and listed off the number of times I have been there for both of them and how stupid they are being. Jane also told me that the reason why no one intervened at the dinner party was that no one knew what to say. John has always presented himself as being the nice guy and the perfect boyfriend. His behavior came completely out of left field and out of character, that people genuinely didn't know how to react. Julie has always spoken so highly about John, how perfect he is, how lucky she is to have him, and how we all need to find our John. It sort of brought to light a few things about him and their relationship, a few odd things that no one could put their finger on. No one's relationship is as perfect as John and Julie's. Long story short, it made a lot of people reconsider how they thought about them both. Someone in the original post pointed out that their outburst and insistence for help are probably symptomatic of a bigger problem. Whoever said that was correct. Around a year ago, both Julie and John bought into a business. I don't know the specific details, but at the time, John and Julie approached me and asked me for some legal advice, which I declined since I was in my final semester of law school, because they didn't want to pay for a lawyer to draw up contracts or look over things. At the time, John was really dismissive of paying for legal advice and said that he was more than capable of handling everything. Turns out he did a really terrible job. They are losing money, owe a lot of people money, angered a lot of people, and both he and Julie are generally being screwed over by a contract in place. This is what Jane has told me. I feel bad for them, I really do, but there is literally nothing I can do. Yeah, I am a lawyer, but as I have stated time and time again, it is not in an area of law I practice in. It's like asking a cardiologist to perform a lobotomy. My expertise is family law. While I have a rudimentary knowledge of business law or corporate law, the kind of advice they need is beyond the scope of anything I can help them with. After much thought though, even if I had the ability, I don't know if I would want to. The sense of entitlement they have and the flagrant disrespect they have both shown me have really upset me. While John has been a monumental douche, what really stings the most is Julie. She was meant to be an old friend, but it just effing hurts. I mean, imagine trying over and over again to meet up with a friend, but they continuously bail on you. Then, out of the blue, they meet up with you. But instead of exchanging pleasantries, nope, I didn't even get a token "how are you doing?" A pile of papers gets thrust in your hands, dozen of rapid-fire questions about the law, demands to call people for them, requests to write carefully crafted letters in your name on your office stationery, contracts and documents to look over. F that noise. I don't want to finish work only to be inundated with more work. I know that I have been used, but what's worse is the disrespect. The whole lawyer jokes that were barely disguised attacks on me. The thought process that, oh, she'll do the heap of work for us just because. How someone can even get into that mindset astonishes me. Julie hasn't bothered to speak to me, and I have no intention to speak to her. Jane said that Julie doesn't really show any remorse, and while she understands my reluctance to not get involved, thinks that I should be doing more. F her and F doing more. I've done so much for her and John. I've written statements to help with his visa application. I have recommended customers to their store. I have helped them move from home to home. I have given them a list of lawyers to contact in regards to their situation. I've been there when Julie's grandfather passed away. More must mean doing what they want for them. It has been hard, harsh lesson, but the friend I thought I had was never really a friend at all. So that's it. Lesson learned, my friends. Lesson learned. It's ironic. I have no qualms sticking up for my clients and pushing for them, but when it came to myself, I whimpered and rolled over like a little puppy dog. It's taken me 27 years, but I am no longer taking crap from anyone. So Julie and John are no longer part of my life. Time to move on. Thanks for all your support and advice. Well, OP, I understand that it hurts to lose a friend, but like you say, she was never your friend, so good for you for standing up for yourself and just getting them out of your life. All the best in the future, OP, and thank you for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.